Hi everybody, sanibonani, welcome to my channel. Igama lami Mdletshe, and on this channel siyaye sibuka ama reality shows ethu alla eMzansi bese siza la sokhuluma ngawo lama shows. Siyaphinda ke futhi sikhuluma ama celebrities kanye nama YouTubers ethu alla eMzansi. If it's your first time joining me today and you really like my content, do not forget to press the subscribe button la ngezansi, upress the notification bell ukuze uthole umyalezo uma ngabe umsebenzi omusha sesiwufakile. Kanti ke futhi to those who want to become very important members of this channel, there is a join button la ngezansi. Kanti uma ufuna ukubonga ichannel, there's a thanks button la ngezansi. And thank you so much everybody for watching adverts on this channel. It helps a channel a lot. And before we begin this review, you know you're gonna like it, so please just press the like button so that you don't forget at the end of the video, because that helps me actually for YouTube to promote my video when they see that you actually like my reviews. Okay, so finally you guys, we get the episode 1 of Real Housewives of Durban. Okay, my favorite franchise of all of the African franchises, and we got episode 1 of season 3, you guys. Of course, we have to get over the fact that our favorites are not there. Okay, we're getting used to it, and the way that it's going so far, it kind of feels like, okay, we're gonna have to accept it. They are helping us to accept it because it looks like they have a plan to bring it, you guys. But as we all know, guys, we watch a lot of reality TV shows, and we know sometimes with episode 1 it gets exciting, and then afterwards, and then it slows down a little bit and it gets boring. So we hope Uguti pace that they have started with in episode 1, it's going to be the same pace throughout the season. I liked what I saw, you guys. I liked the new cast. I liked all of them. So, and I have no expectations really, because I don't know them very well outside of them coming to Real Housewives of Durban. I just hope that they really give us really good storylines. I hope they give us the drama, guys, because what is a reality show without drama? Okay, and we are hoping nobody lays hands on anybody. But we do want those confrontations. And guys, let me tell you, okay, let me tell you, if you thought you knew Sorisha, if you thought you knew Unkosikazi ka Vivian Reddy, you did not know her. I've been wondering, why did they bring Sorisha back this season? Because she has given us nothing. And this episode, she was like, what? Oh, so I've given you nothing. Okay. So nothing. Here is your something. She gave us something. Episode 1 of season 4. I was so excited. I was so excited because I've been feeling like Sorisha is that person that can bring it for us. And it will be such a nice combination to have a housewife that is the richest in the group and also can bring us like the drama. And the way that Sorisha will bring it, she's like a person that can hold people accountable for the things they say, for the things that they do. And we feel like last season she was just letting things go too much. You know, this season, that Sorisha is gone, okay? Forget about her. Forget about season 1 Sorisha. Forget about season 2 Sorisha. We're getting the new Sorisha. I am so excited about that. Of course, you guys, they're introducing the new cast, and they did throw shade here and there in the old cast. I just feel like it's pointless when you throw shade at a cast member that is no longer there. But nonetheless, it's fun to hear them throw shade here and there, as long as it's fun shade. But I just feel like sometimes it's great when you throw shade at people that are there in the season, so that they can respond. If they don't respond during the season, they can respond at the reunion. So there was shade thrown at last year. There was shade thrown at Londi London. Yes, there was, but of course they are not there, so we're never gonna hear them answer back. But maybe we must watch out for their tweets and their Instagrams, because they might use their social media to actually answer to the shade. Okay, so of course the first lady that they bring back is Jojo. She says good things. She's got a lot of things going on. Things are new. Everything in her life is upgraded. The house, the cars, they have doubled the number of the cars. They have doubled the number of the sports cars. So she is even richer than she was in season 2. Okay. Here's the thing about Jojo. I like the fact that she's rich because, of course, we want to see the glitz and glamour. We want to get inspired. We want the kids to watch the Real Housewives and get inspired. But the thing about Jojo, every time she speaks about herself, she speaks about material things. And yes, partly the show is about the material things, but I want to hear more about Jojo. I kind of feel like I want the quality in terms of like who Jojo is outside of the material things, and I feel like her focus is mostly on the material things. But as the season goes, moto and all of that, we want to know more about you, we want to know more about your friendships, we want to know more about your family. But yes, that's what she's saying, everything is upgraded, life is softer now. She looks like life is softer. So yes, that's how they introduced Jojo. So right at the beginning of the episode, Jojo is already talking about the fact that she's planning an event, and in an event she's going to need a singer. She's going to need a singer, and we all know, what happened last season with her needing a singer, and then Ulondi London was supposed to sing, didn't sing. I don't know why she's doing a singer again. At some point, Sorisha was like, maybe Jojo should try for dancers or something next time. But so she wants Mbali Ngiba, who is a new cast member, to sing on her event, okay? So she calls her, they arrange, she asks her, she does say, you guys, I think I like the fact that in introducing Mbali, they didn't pretend that Mbali is Jojo's friend outside of the show. Jojo said, I do not know Mbali very well, but I'm going to call her to ask her to come and sing. So I like that they are honest about that, because sometimes when they give us this picture of people are friends before they come to the show, we expect that they're going to be loyal to each other, and then it doesn't happen. We all have seen it with Nonku and Seme, where they were introducing her as Nonku's friend, and then at some point Nonku was denying even knowing Seme. So I like that she did say, listen, I don't know this woman, but they say she can sing, so I'm gonna invite her to the event, okay? And the next lady that they reintroduced is Nonku. Nonku looks like God has been good to her, because she says that God has been good to her. She really looks good. She feels like, she says good, she feels like things are much better. She is in a better place. And I will say this in Zulu, because maybe in English it will feel like it's body shaming. And actually in Zulu it's not. It's actually me saying she looks good. Ukhuluphele, If I say it in English, it's gonna be wrong, because when I say ukhuluphele, it's like, oh, now Ntando, but no, it's mangifika ekhaya and I look ngikhuluphele, it's a good thing. She looks like that. She looks like she's really doing well. She looks like she is happy. Her body looks like that, okay? Her body looks like it's receiving the happiness, okay? Sometimes when we're happy and comfortable, I'm happy and comfortable, and she looks like that, Ulona Unonkum, okay? So then they introduce Uslindile Ndlovu, because Uslindile Ndlovu Nonku are supposed to be friends, okay? This is what they always do, because the producers should have known. If you're going to introduce somebody to the show, don't use Nonku, because Nonku is gonna mess up. Nonku is going to at some point is going to show you, this person is not my friend. But at the beginning, of course, they are introduced as friends. They stay in the same estate. So Nonku just is going to her house, Uslindile. And Slee says she's single and ready to mingle. She was in a relationship. She was married to boss Yamazulu, someone that is in the management Yamazulu, and she recently got divorced. Apparently the divorce was a surprise to her. 3 months later, her man was married to someone else. Looks like she's been she does say she's still going through a lot when it comes to that. She's talking about the fact that she did so much for that relationship that she even left her kids behind to go marry that man. Yes, don't sacrifice for a man. I am telling you. People will say Umendo is a blessing. This is what happened to her, basically. So she is still going through a lot in terms of a relationship. And I guess this is a relationship she was talking about, because she was on Ikakasi. not so long ago, and she was talking about the fact that she was approached to do Real Housewives of Durban before, and she was still in a relationship, and that person was more unknown than she was, and she felt like if she gets into Real Housewives, it's going to be about that man. Okay, this is what I think is the truth. I think that she did not, at the time she was very comfortable, she probably didn't feel like she needed Real Housewives Real Housewives, and maybe she was in money at the time, and now with the man gone, she needs to be on Real Housewives. But she's saying that at that time she felt like it would have been about a man, not about her, and now she's on a Real Housewives. She does say that she has a spiritual gift, you guys. Like, of course I was rolling my eyes with spiritual gift thing, because I'm like, everybody has a spiritual gifts now, everybody is a sangoma, everybody is a nyanga, everybody is a mtandaz. But then I was like, okay, stop, Ntando, just listen, okay? Maybe it's serious this time. It's different for her. She's not a sangoma. It doesn't look that way. Because at some point she was wearing Nazareta and then kneeling and praying, okay? So we will support it. Even if she was a sangoma, we would support it. But I'm just like, how can we all be sangomas now? How can we all be them Mtandazis? Who's going to Tandazela who now if we are all Mtandazis? If me and my whole family is... So everybody has a spiritual gift now. But I was like, okay. Hold on now, let me just watch it. Yeah, it looks like it's something that she takes very seriously. There was also a clip of her wearing some construction uniform and the head thing, protection head thing. So I thought, okay, she's in construction. I hope they're not lying to us, because this woman is coming out of a relationship where she was comfortable. She probably wasn't doing anything to make money. And she does talk about the fact that she walked out of that relationship with just her clothes. Girl, we don't do that. She said she walked out of that relationship with only her clothes. We don't do that. Don't be a bigger person during divorce. Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't. As marriage ends to time, you don't walk out of a marriage unless, of course, you had, the contracts before. Yeah, but you don't walk out with your clothes. She must walk out with a man, and you must walk out with everything. But she says, and she just walked out with her clothes. But I was like, girl, next time don't do that. You are not supposed to be a bigger person during divorce. You become very, very, very small during divorce, okay? So, but anyway, that's what she says, you guys. When she talks about a relationship, it does feel like she's still very emotional about it. She says, she still misses him, but even if Angabuya, she will not take him back. She does not want him. She does not want anything that has to do with him. I imagine, you guys, that, you would feel like that if somebody just dropped you 3 months later, they're married to someone else. She does say that it felt like it was a setup, okay? A man, you guys, will stay with you while they're building a totally new relationship, a new family on the side, and then when they decide this one family is better than this one here, they would leave you and go to that family. That's what men do sometimes, Anyway, yes, so they're just talking. It seemed like they know each other, Nonku and Nayusli, but it didn't feel to me like they're besties. They're friends because they stay in the same area. They probably have met at events and found out that they stay in the same estate and all of that, but it did not feel like they're besties. But it just felt like it's an okay friendship. They are comfortable with each other, okay? So then the next, you guys, they introduce Sorisha. Sorisha says she's okay. Of course, she's managing her family, she does mention something about managing her parents' lives, which made me feel like, okay, maybe we are going to see Sorisha's, parents this time. Because Sorisha and Nonku are the OGs. By this time, we should be knowing everything about them. We are in season 3. We should be knowing everything about them, but we still know very little about their family, which is very weird if you are in a reality show. 3 seasons, all we don't know your parents. Do they even exist, these parents, So she does mention something about her parents, which made me feel like, okay, maybe we are going to see her parents. Listen, somebody said to Sorisha down and said, listen, Sorisha, we are going to bring you back this season. We know you're the richest housewife in Durban, and we are very scared of your husband, so we won't fire you. But we might have to take Isbindi next season and fire you if you don't bring it. I think that conversation took place or she really is following what people are saying online, the videos that people are making after every episode of Real Housewives. And when we gave feedback after the season, maybe she is watching, maybe she is listening, when a lot of us were saying, okay, we love you, Sorisha, we love your energy, but we need more, because this season she came and she's giving us more. Okay, so Annie is back, you guys. Annie is back, but she really just looks different and feels different. Her energy feels different. I'm not saying that she's nicer because she doesn't feel like it's nicer, but something is going on with Annie. Something is going on with Annie, but she's not saying what it is. But that's Annie. Annie has never really shared what's going on in her life, but she will always prompt about what's going on in other people's lives. So she's visiting Sorisha at her house. They seem like they really have a friendship, sort of an understanding. However, you guys, these women don't really spend time outside of the show. I think even when we see them taking pictures and all of that at events, it's because they're attending events, but they don't really hang out like that, because they're talking about the fact that they had that fight at the reunion. Of course, they've been in the same events, but Annie is feeling like Sorisha hardly ever picks up her calls or answer her messages. So she's got that complaint about her friendship. So they are complaining about her friendship. Listen, I understand Sorisha's very busy. She's got her own businesses. She runs some of her husband's businesses. Maybe she's got kids, she's got her parents, whatever. But I think that this season what's coming out is that she does not nurture the friendships that she has with these women outside of the show. So when the show is not on, they're having complaints about her not picking up her calls. Okay, so remember at the reunion that Annie no Sorisha sort of had, because Annie was feeling like, okay, let's go back to the trip that they had. The ladies, Nonku and Mabusi and Lassie were in a room next door to somebody, and they were talking about next door to Makumalo, they were talking about Sorisha. They said something that was big and horrible, and that we don't even know what it is. I don't know, something that we thought maybe it was racist. That Makumalo came and said they had said it, but Makumalo didn't say what it was. Actually, Makumalo could have saved herself a spot on the show by just telling us what the ladies said, but she did not tell us what the ladies said. Okay, fine. So then Annie was feeling like Sorisha should be holding people accountable for that. Why is she being nice to people that were said to have said something not so nice about her? Because Sorisha, of course, she was being Sorisha. She was like, no, guys, let's let go. As long as you love me and you're my friend, I'm okay with that. But Annie was like, no, you can't be like that with people that you just heard that they were talking about you. So can you confront them? Can you hold them accountable? But Sorisha didn't want to do that. So they had that. And Sorisha was like, listen, I have a right to handle this whole thing the way that I want to handle it. I can't handle it the way that you want me to handle it. So they had that thing between the two of them. So they just had a talk about it where Annie was explaining her point of view. Sorisha said, listen, you will be happy to know that recently I've been working on myself, and I feel like moving forward I'm going to put myself first. Okay, so I guess that's what she's working on, Sorisha. And of course, Annie is very happy about it. Annie is very good at pointing out things that people should be fixing in their lives, but we don't see a lot of her fixing a lot of things in her own life. And also, guys, we have to remember, Annie has gone through a lot. She got a lot of negative feedback after last season. So I am guessing that, even me feeling like her spirit is a little bit different this season, maybe it is because of that, because maybe she feels like she has to be careful what she says, what she does this season, because last season, of course, people didn't like it. They didn't like what she said. At some point, they didn't even like her hair. At the reunion, she posted pictures, had to remove them because people didn't like them. It was a lot for Annie, okay? So then they start talking about their families. When I say that Sorisha is here to bring it, Sorisha already knew that Annie has some issues in her marriage that Annie doesn't want to talk about. So what does Sorisha do? Sorisha talks about her marriage and talks about what's not going okay with her marriage, to get Annie to talk about her marriage, which was not successful. But I understand the strategy and appreciated Sorisha's strategy, because Sorisha is more like, listen, of course we're doing well with the family, but of course I have an issue because Vivian works a lot. Is hardly at home for like dinners and all of that. But sometimes I feel like these housewives, sometimes they just have to accept some of the things, because if you're going to live a certain lifestyle, of course your man has to be out there working and also maybe seeing side chicks. So you so you have to accept, because a lot of the times you're going to be alone with the kids. Maybe the solution is to have a whole lot of kids, so that you can just be spending time with your kids while he is away, in going away on business, So she's saying that because, of course, she's feeling like she doesn't have a problem herself that Vivian works a lot, but she has a problem with the fact she feels guilty that her family is not getting that, which means her kids. And her kids are growing up. I think her daughter is like the same age as my daughter Ulungisa. So I'm guessing that she is going to varsity soon. And their father is hardly ever around, and yes, so she's got those complaints. So she even said, Sorisha, Vivian is the same as your husband, meaning Annie's husband. So get Annie to talk about her issues, but Annie doesn't. Okay, Annie's not giving us anything when it comes to her marriage. But of course, the other ladies are messy enough to give us an idea that things are not all rosy over there. Okay. And then, of course, Jojo ends up in the next meeting with Slee, because, of course, they have to talk about the event and talk about the fact that Slee is going to sing. At the beginning of the meeting, because they are meeting where the event is going to take place, she's showing her where people are going to be sitting, I guess where the stage is going to be. And at the beginning, I thought it's settled that she's going to sing at the event. But at the end of the meeting, I was like, okay, this thing is edited very weird, because at the end of the meeting, Slee says, because she says, Jojo, listen, don't disappoint me. I've had one singer that I invited that never showed up, or showed up but didn't want to sing, which was, who's the lady that didn't sing? The Slay Queen didn't sing at her event. So Slee's like, listen, I would let you know. That morning, I would let you know. And I'm like, how? I thought you did cycle that you're going to sing. How are you going to let her know on the day of the event that you're not going to sing? Anyway, you guys, they show each other the venue, where it's going to be, and they seem to be communicating okay. But guys, ulokuza nombali, did I say Slee? Ay man, nombali, yes. Did I say Slee? Get confused. I'm confused. Slee is Nonku's friend. Bali is the actor one, the one who sings Maskandi. Okay, Bali Ngeba. So Bali, not Jojo, that who are meeting. Okay. Bali is coming with the, the mama wenkonzo energy, she's coming with that energy, mama wenkonzo on Real Housewives, even her diary session, I was like, they needed to bring the queen back just so she can hang out with Umbali. I'm getting Mama Wenkonzo energy from Umbali, even her diary station. So, of course, you guys, everything goes well with both of them. Jojo kanye naye uLokuzana Umbali, and Jojo feels like, okay, Umbali is okay. She seemed like a nice person, but she said that she has concerns because she feels like she is too sweet for the group. That's why I'm saying she brings Mama Wenkonzo energy, because even Jojo felt it. Jojo was like, I like her, she's sweet, but with this group, I don't know if we need sweet. I don't know if we can do it sweet in this group. That was just, that's how I felt as well. Also now, when she saw Jojo, Lokuzana Umbali was like, hey, lo mama Lona with the tattoos and everything. Does she know the kind of music that I do? Because she does traditional music, like Maskandi kind of music. So she's like, is she going to listen to Maskandi, this lady? And she said she's doing a Princess Soray party. The mix of that with the Maskandi, it doesn't seem like it's something that needs to mix. But yeah, now she was surprised. It was okay. Yeah, the tattoo lady wants me to sing. Is that gonna work? So I guess both of them, they're just getting to know each other. Okay. In the introduction, she just said that she's seeing somebody, Mdletshe Madolo. Listen, I don't think that they're married, okay? Because she doesn't say that it's her husband. This is something that they did. The producers are very messy. So in introducing Umbali, they say Umbali lives in Joburg, but now and then she comes to Durban for work. Listen, you guys, the fact that the show is called Real Housewives of Durban doesn't mean that they can only cast people in Durban. That is not really, they can cast somebody outside of Durban and they have to move to Durban to shoot. That's what they did with Ayanda Ncwane. Ayanda was not living in Durban, but she had to shoot in Durban. They do that, okay? And but they have to make it look like you are really kind of based in Durban so that it makes sense. But we all know that a lot of these entertainers are mostly in Joburg instead of Durban, okay? So she is one of those. She lives in Joburg but comes to Durban. She says she rents a house. They make sure that they tell us this time because they don't want us throwing tantrums, because we did throw tantrums last season with the last season. So say, hi, last season, that was not your house. You were renting in. And Ulasi was like, yeah, I was renting, just like all of you are renting flats and an apartment and houses. This is like, yeah, I'm the same as you guys. You are renting too. Yeah, but as funba rent, it's not rent, as funba rent. Anyway, you guys, so she makes sure she clarifies the fact that she lives in Joburg. When she goes to Durban for work, she will rent a house at Zimbali or book a house, okay? Which is, it's the same thing. You book, you rent, at the end of the day, you pay. It's not yours, okay? You pay for the time you stay there. It's not yours, okay? So it's the same thing. You rent a house. So in Zimbali, okay? So already, because when they were showing her house, they did show like nice, you know, and then I was like, oh, so it's not yours. Oh, so we are not interested. We want the house that is yours, okay? By the way, you guys, Slee's house is very nice, okay? Slee's house, her business must be doing very well, because she says that from her marriage she walked out with only her clothes, but she's living in an estate like that, so I guess her businesses are doing okay. Or maybe later on we will also find out that she's renting, and Nonku will tell us, because Nonku betrays her friends. So she will tell us if she's renting, okay? So yeah, there was a meeting between Jojo and preparing for the event. I already knew that something was off with the booking Balingiba for the event, because that conversation was just not making sense for somebody that had already concluded that they are going to do the event for Jojo, okay? Then the next scene, Annie is at home, her sister arrives, and then her stylist arrive. But I don't understand what the meeting is about. I guess they just wanted to shoot at Annie's house, and obviously her husband is never around, so they were never gonna get a scene with her husband. She starts talking about friendships, that she's very close to Sorisha, to Annie, and then maybe with Nonku, and then the stylist and her sister think that they must do something together with Nonku, and she doesn't think so. Boring scene, okay? Even if we skip through that boring scene, Annie, I'm still waiting for you to give us something, because she did not give us a lot. So then the next scene, it was Nonku's house. Nonku has planned something where she has invited, I guess it's just a get to know friends kind of a thing. She has invited Jojo, Sorisha, Slee. Who else was there? But she hasn't invited Annie. Okay, so everybody doesn't understand why she hasn't invited in, but okay, so they arrive at Nonku's house, and Jojo was the first one to arrive. Apparently Nonku and Jojo have become best friends, and the way that Jojo looked down on Nonku last season, I'm surprised that they were able to build a friendship. But I did feel like last season Nonku was begging to be Annie and Jojo's friend, and I guess she has succeeded in becoming friends with Jojo. She says Ugutu Jojo is her best white friends. I guess she has a the best black friend and then the best white friend. I don't know why she needs to differentiate between the two. And so the others arrive, of course. And Lee was there, and then Sorisha as well arrives, okay? Here's the thing, during the whole meeting, I guess it was just a meeting. I didn't even see them eat something or anything. I don't know. It felt like maybe Nonku wanted them to meet Slee, but Nonku is very messy. That's not the reason, okay? So obviously when Sorisha arrives, Sorisha always gets a little bit jealous with friendships, because she always feels like she's left out of, people like her in the group, but they don't make her a bestie. And I think that that's because she doesn't spend a lot of time with them. If you see on Instagram, Nonku posting, she would post with Jojo, she would post with Eni, they will be shopping together, they will be eating together, but Sorisha doesn't seem to have time for that. So I feel like the time that they have put on building friendships, Sorisha hasn't. But it's not that they dislike her. Nonku mentions the same thing that Eni did, which is that Sorisha doesn't pick up calls, doesn't answer messages. So it's very hard for you to say that Sorisha is your friend, because outside of the show they don't really speak, okay? So of course she says she was a little bit jealous of the fact that, of course, Jojo and Nonku, they've gotten so close, but she was also introduced to Slee, okay? Who Slee is introduced as Nonku's friend, and Nonku does exactly, you guys, what she did to Umabosi, betrays her friend. First scene that she shoots, it was a second scene that she shoots with her friend, she does betray her friend. But before that, they were talking about Eni, because they were trying to understand why Nonku hasn't invited Eni. They went to the event where it was an opening of Vivian Reddy's mall, the Oceans Mall. Vivian Reddy, I told you guys, he built a country here in Durban, okay? He built it's a mall, but it looks like a country in itself. I'm sure it has a president and the vice president, and there is ministers in that mall, and there's councillors, yes, there's the municipality in that mall, okay? So it was the opening of the Oceans Mall. They all went there. She said Jojo arrived first, and then Eni arrived, and then Nonku arrived, and she was given a seat, Nonku. She said, and then afterwards, Eni's husband came, and Eni wanted Eni wanted Nonku to give up her seat for her husband. I'm like, no, your husband should have stood there. Of course, Nonku is like, no. If you want your husband to get a seat, stand up, lady, and give your husband a seat, or let him stand. They say Nonku, Eni's husband didn't seem like he had a problem standing, and but Eni didn't understand why Nonku is not giving up a seat for her husband. That kind of situation. And then there was in a way, because Eni ended up leaving early because she didn't understand why Nonku wouldn't give up a seat, because they were there first with her husband, ended up leaving the event. So Nonku is feeling like, the thing about Eni, they're up and down with their relationship, but she feels like Eni, there's things that she does to her that she wouldn't do to, for an example, Jojo and Sorisha. So they're having those issues. And she added something that was irrelevant. She added, futhi Eni uyamsaba husband wakhe. Futhi ke Eni went on a vacation and was having dinner by herself, but she was on a vacation with her husband. That was irrelevant. We didn't need that information, but we needed it. When you get the information that you didn't think you needed, but you need, and then you realize, I need this information, yes. So we needed that information about Eni's husband. So Sorisha is like, if you have so much to say about Eni, maybe you guys need to sit down and talk, because you are revealing a lot about her and about her relationship, so maybe she should know about it. And then Sorisha is like, you know what, my advice is that you sit down with Sorisha, because with Eni is my friend. So if I see her before you see her, I'm going to tell her what you said. So it's better that you call her and tell her, okay? So and Nonku was like, but I'm not gossiping about her, I'm going to tell her. And then Slee, being Nonku's friend, is like, you know what, Nonku, if you are not gossiping, if you can say it in front of her, it means that you're not gossiping. I thought she was trying to defend her friend. If you can say it to her, like you say you're going to say it to her, then it's not gossiping, okay? Then you guys, Nonku at some point, because she had introduced Slee, everybody seemed to like Slee. They didn't have a problem with her. She's very calm, but also she was interacting with everybody while they were sitting there. And then she starts saying, Slee, I know okay, the group likes you and all, but there's something that you said about Jojo when I was talking to you about Jojo. Slee is like, What are you doing, my friend? Apparently, Slee had said that she had made some comments about Nonku and Jojo's friends. She said she feels like Nonku likes Jojo more than Jojo likes Nonku, which is true. We've all seen it. Okay, Nonku likes them. Even last season, Nonku likes Jojo more than Jojo likes her. Jojo has just given up and be like, okay, you want to be my friend, let's be friends. Otherwise, they wouldn't be friends. I think she was right in saying that. And they were talking as friends. It was my friend, but I think that friend likes you. I guess Slee, not Jojo, they are fighting for a best friend position with Nonku on the show, because outside of the show, clearly they're not friends, Slee and Nonku, because otherwise it doesn't make sense why they're throwing each other under the bus, okay? And then she said, okay. So Slee starts explaining, listen, I did say that about Jojo because I do feel like Vele, you like her more than she likes you. And also, when I watched last season, I didn't like the way that Jojo addressed Mabuse. I was like, now we have someone who has Mabuse's back, even though Mabuse is no longer here. You see now how they should have brought Mabuse as Slee's friend, as a friend of the show, and brought her as Slee's friend, because Slee is going to need somebody that's going to have her back, because obviously Nonku doesn't have her back, okay? So she's like, yeah, I said that. I didn't like. I thought it was classless for her to address Umabusi like that, questioning if ama lokuzana, ama bags, our patay are fake or not. And Jojo was like, if you thought there was classless, you don't know what classless is and whatever. Everybody was questioning it. I just was able to say it. But Slee was honest in saying, yeah, I did say that. Sorisha is confused. You brought us here, Nonku, to introduce us to your friend, but then you are throwing your friend under the bus. A friend that I am starting to like because I'm seeing her right now. I like her energy, but now you are confusing me because you are throwing her under the bus. Nonku goes on to say she's not happy with Slee, making comments about her parenting, making comment. Sometimes we're talking about our parenting, we're talking about abantu abasiza endlini, and then your friend will be like, no, friend, you must say this or you must do this. I think they were having that type of a conversation, and Slee have some advice for Nonku. Nonku didn't like it, so she feels like she's mangling in her business, but she doesn't speak to her friend about it. She waits, okay, for the group to be together to speak about it. And then Slee is like, but friend, when we are trying to throw abantu under the bus, so wavele wayomfundeli history yakhe, when you are trying to throw abantu under the bus, and then they go to the clip where she's throwing Umabuse under the bus, go say, hey, no. The producers can provide evidence. No, Vele. That's what you do. We said this lady is your friend. You must say she's your friend on the show, even though she's not your friend on the show. It's a script, okay? Stick to the script. But she's throwing Slee under the bus. Slee was confused, I think. But I think she was able to hold her own. She was able to defend herself and explain herself. And I don't think that, of course, the whole time that they're there, they might as well just call a pastor and get married to Nonku, no Jojo, because the whole time they were holding hands there. I'm like, hey, the fall of this friendship is coming. This is a reality show. Yes, I fall your friendship. So, okay, fine. That was their meeting. Of course, Slee was disappointed at the fact that how can my friend invite me to meet her other friends and then treat me like that? But there is Nonku, okay? Okay, this next scene, that's where we get to meet Maria Valescatis. Guys, I'm sorry. Okay? So, she introduces herself as somebody that is very high maintenance. She's married to a surgeon. She's got some businesses, makes some money, but who wants to spend their own money? She makes her own money, but doesn't spend her own money. This she should have. Maria must spend time with Slee. You must make your own money, but don't spend your own money. But when you walk out of a marriage, girl, don't pick your clothes, okay? Take a TV, TV nyanyana, microwave nyana. I had this thing of being a bigger person. But anyway, so apparently she was also going to help Jojo with the planning of a party. And yes, you guys saw they're preparing for the party got Jojo now, okay? So it's a day of the party. Everybody's wearing gowns. They're wearing like princess gowns, and they're all being brought to the event with the horse and carriage, and everybody's excited about it except for Maria. Maria is like, yeah, this is daily thing for me. Nasa bathroom horse and carriage. So this is not This is not exceptional. So it's a party, they dance and everything. But the surprise is that Bali is not there. Everyone was there except for Bali. Bali is not there, who is supposed to perform at the event. So they're like, Sorisha, they're like, yeah, Jojo, what's happening? Jojo's like, what? She doesn't show up until late. Finally, when she comes, Jojo is like, and then what happened? Umbali's like, I'm sorry. It's like, okay. I felt like Jojo is waiting for the explanation, but she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Umama wenkonzo, like usho ngathi umama wenkonzo ukuthi ngiyaxolisa abazalwane, you know, inkonzo angibange ngisakwazi ukuthi ngishumayele esontweni ngiyaxolisa. It had that energy. So Jojo is like, okay, let's go to the party. And then I thought she's gonna go to the party and then perform, but she ends up not performing. Everyone is like, Jojo, just, you know, in the data sessions they were like, Jojo must just forget about singers, you know, maybe the dancers, maybe something else when she does parties. Okay, so they're sitting at the table now because they had been dancing, having fun. Bali was so late. And so they were sitting at the table. I think they were eating, even though I did not see the food. But the event was beautiful, you guys. The event was beautiful. The ladies were beautiful. It was all positive, of course, until they decided, you know what, this party is too positive. Let's do some negativity. At some point, Sorisha pulls Slee aside, which I liked. Because, of course, Sorisha is doing what Sorisha came to do this season, which is get a little bit messy. So she said she wanted to build a friendship with Slee, but she also does say that she is building an alliance. So I wondered, you guys, is this going to be more of an allowance than a friendship, or is this going to be more of a friendship than an allowance? She just said, listen, I like your energy. I liked you at the Nonku's event when we were there. But I was confused by what was happening, because it was like I was getting to know you and I liked your energy, but then your friend was throwing you under the bus. She seemed a little bit emotional to say, you know what, I was confused by that whole thing. If you have an issue with me being your friend, you know, you could have called me aside. But then, yeah, that's what happened. And they seem to get along. I think Sorisha, what she has picked up mostly is that she has a very calm energy about her, you know. So she says, I like you, I like your energy. I think we can build a friendship. And she's like, yeah, listen. Slee is like, yes, of course, we can build a friendship. But she does say she needs to speak to Nonku about what happened at her house, okay? Because, of course, as a friend, you need to understand, my friend, I came to the show knowing you, but you are the one throwing me under the bus, okay? So, okay, the event goes on, and then the flowers arrive. When the flowers arrive, and then Jojo is like, ha! Another petal. It was like perfect, like it was built perfect into the episode, like it was petal. But the flowers were actually ordered by Bali for Jojo to apologize, I guess, for being late and for not performing. But I still don't understand why she did not perform. They're sitting at the table. The ladies are like, oh, you're a singer, please sing something for us. And then Bali's like, I lama ladies but she says it, you know. And then she starts singing. Of course, I was like, these ladies are not going to understand what she's singing. Because she's singing like a Maskandi type of thing, okay? Fine, you guys. And then afterwards, there was a game that they played, which really just didn't, I didn't understand it. Bali was eating a banana. Maria was trying to sing while she had water in her mouth. You know, they were trying to create a messy game that I was like, that's how I'm I was like, that's how I'm like, Showmax. So then, but the interesting scene at the event was more when Sorisha said to Nonku, when they were having a conversation, Nonku, do you want to pull Annie to the side and talk to her? Because remember, Sorisha had said to Nonku, what you said about Annie, please tell her before I see her, because of course she's my friend. When I see her, I'm going to have to tell her what you said. And Nonku was like, I don't have a problem with that, I will tell Annie. But now they're at the event, she hasn't spoken to Annie. Sorisha is like, we're not having that. Angithi nithe last season ngilunge kakhulu. There's no akukulunga this season. So nangu Annie. Nonku nangu Annie. Lo kade ukhuluma ngaye. Uyafuna ukuthi umbizele eceleni umtshele lento kade uyisho. What is that show on SABC1? When the guy says, okay, please tell me what you told me outside. Sorisha did that. I was like, yeah, that day you were talking about Annie. Nangu ke u-Annie. Uyelo. Take her to the side, and tell her, because I'm with her right now, and I told you that if you give her nine some chain. Oh, Lorna is like, Sorisha, why would you do that? You are so messy. Why would you be that messy? And it's like, no, I'm not being messy. I'm just telling you that I'm about to do what I said I was going to do. So if you don't tell him, I'm going to tell him. So Nonku does the thing of, I know, I'll tell Annie, I'll call her privately and talk to her privately and whatever. And then Annie's like, Auntie, what was said about me? And Nonku is like, Annie, I will talk to you, I will call you. It was messy what Sorisha did, but she did exactly what she said she was going to do, because she said, tell her before I see her, because if I see her first, I'm going to tell her. But she was still giving Nonku a chance, and Nonku didn't want to do it. So at the end, she's like, okay, listen, I'm not going to be part of that conversation, but if you want to tell Annie, you can tell Annie, what you've been saying about what I've been saying about her. So Sorisha ended up asking Annie, did you ask Nonku to give up her seat at the event? Because there were two things Nonku said, three actually, that Annie asked Nonku to give up her seat. 2, Annie is scared of her husband. 3, Annie was having dinner all by herself when they were on a vacation with her husband. So Annie's like, oh, okay, so busy and yes, you guys. And Nonku, I think she should have taken a moment to just pull Annie to the side and tell her, because at the end of the day, it was going to come out anyway. And Nonku is like, still, I'm going to talk to you privately. You can just have that conversation. So Slee, I really think Slee is not being biased when it comes to Nonku, because she was like, my friend, just say it, because she could see Nonku is looking bad now. My friend, just say it, because really at the event I said to you, it's not gossip, because you said you were gonna tell her. So just do that. Do what you said you were gonna do. And then Nonku is like, I don't understand why Slee is getting involved, but I think Slee was actually helping Nonku. There's something that Sorisha said when she had a sit down with Slee, where she said, listen, I understand that Nonku and Jojo are friends, but there's a word that she used, like they're all hyping on Instagram holding hands. She says they're similar. But Nonku needs a calm energy in her life, and she feels like, Sorisha feels like Slee is that reasonable energy in Nonku's life. So she feels like they make a good team, So, and that's exactly what she was saying. She was doing at on the table. She was saying, listen, my friend, I'm trying to help you here. Just say what you said so it doesn't look so bad, but Nonku wouldn't do it. Anyway, the episode ended there. So we're going to see next week what happens with the episode, you guys. Of course, from the previews, you guys, sometimes I don't trust my previews. They show you something and it's not really that. They show you there's going to be drama, but it's not really as dramatic as you thought. But it looks like we're going to have a little bit of drama. I'm liking Slee, you guys. Bali, I'm not sure. Of course, there is a time in the event where she shares, because she was sharing about herself. They were getting to know the new cast, and she does share that she lost a child. She hasn't given details there. It's a painful story. So I guess we're going to get to know a little bit more about her. She says she's engaged. I hope she's really engaged, because abantulana basitshela ngemembe, so that never happened. We've been through that, So yeah, you guys. So I mean, Maria hasn't done much. Maria hasn't done much. Maria, Mama Jesu hasn't done much. At least maybe if she gives birth to Jesu during this season, because he hasn't done much. But Slee has given us a lot to talk about. Okay, and that friendship between her and Sorisha is gonna be interesting, and the friendship between her and Nonku is interesting already. Anyway, you guys, that's all that I'm going to talk about in this episode. But there are other things that we will discuss in different videos, because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Real Housewives. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me what you thought about the first episode. Please like the video before Pumegona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ntando.